All right, we're back in a storm. I don't know if you guys just saw that lightning bolt. Here we go. Oh man, okay. What is up, guys? We are going to be driving cross country from Texas to Oregon in a Tesla Model X. It's a 90D from 2017. As you can see, she is absolutely filled to the brim. And right here, yep, my entire life is in this car. So we're going to see how long this is going to take us. And we're also going to see how long it takes before my range anxiety kicks in. I think it's going to be about a 42-hour drive. When I drove in a manual Mini Cooper, that took about 32 hours. And in this car, we have to make about 14 stops at about 45 minutes on average. Some 35-minute stops, some 55-minute stops. And we'll see how long this takes us. In the gas car, I was able to make the drive from Oregon to Dallas, Texas in about 3 days. It was a lot smaller of a car though, so driving it, I had a little bit less endurance. I was really tired by the end. I was pretty sore. But driving a more SUV style car is a lot more comfortable, so I think I'll be able to go farther. The issue is all those charging stops. I'm just gonna see how far I can go each day, and we're just gonna make it the farthest we can and just call a hotel when I feel like we're getting ready to stop somewhere. So that's the plan. That's what I did last time. It worked out for me pretty well. And man, everyone's driving a lot slower than me. I hope I don't get pulled over by the fuzz. I'm not too nervous yet. It'll be really nice once we're outside of Dallas and the roads kind of spread out a bit. I don't have to deal with traffic as much. But anyway, man, I'm literally a white girl right now. I'm drinking a Starbucks coffee in a fucking Tesla, dude. All right, so Tesla lied to us. Originally, we were going to go to Henrietta, Texas, but for some reason now it wants us to go to Denton. And we're gonna see where it tells us to go, because right now it says after Denton, we are going to go to Vernon, Texas. And after that, we're gonna go to Amarillo. We'll see if it still stays that way. I'm also timing this drive on my phone, including food and coffee stops and things like that. I'm going to stop the timer once we hit like a hotel, because I want to see how much time it's going to take minus hotels. Crisis. We spilled a white girl drink on my pants. It's fine though. It's totally fine. One thing I will say is as soon as you leave the DFW area, like right now we're in Denton, this feels so nice. The driving is so much more chill. We also have a lot of miles left. I don't know why it's telling us to stop at Denton. So what we're going to do is we're just going to charge it up to 80% at Denton and redo our route and see what it says. One thing that's funny about this car is because it's so quiet, I can hear all the boxes I packed creaking against each other. And it sounds like they're just gonna topple over. But I'm sure that's totally normal. It would happen in a gas car. You just don't hear it in a gas car because you hear the engine instead. The car drives pretty good though. I mean, I have it filled to the brim. I have the frunk totally filled, and I have the you know, obviously the back totally filled, and then I have the like undercarriage compartments also filled. So it's a lot of stuff, man. But still, all things considered, the visibility is not bad. Not bad. But you know, that's kind of the nature of an SUV type car. I usually drive crossovers. Before I got this car, I had crossovers. I had a Nissan Juke, and I also had a manual Mini Cooper Countryman. That thing was a fun little car to drive, man. But this is another level entirely. The acceleration, it feels like a sports car. But you're also driving something the size of an SUV, like a big SUV. Okay, so we're about an hour and 20 minutes into our journey. We're supercharging at Denton, but when I tried to reroute my journey, now it says I should go to Henrietta, which is exactly an hour away, and it says that I would be at 23% battery when I get there. So what I'm going to do is likely charge until 80% here and then reroute once more and see if we can maybe skip that charger and then go to Childress. And let me actually show you what the route looks like. All right, so here's what we're looking at. Let's zoom out. Hopefully you guys can see it. This is our route. So as you can see, this is where we are, Dallas, Texas. We are going all the way to Oregon, right there on the west coast. All right, so we charged to roughly 80%. We're about an hour and 50 minutes into our journey, and I redid the route, and it still wants us to go to Henrietta, Texas, which will put us at 36% battery. So I'm going to trust Tesla, and we'll see how it goes, man. At the very least, we saved ourselves some time for the next charging stop, so it's not like we wasted time by hanging out at the charger longer than we technically needed to. So I'm not super concerned about that. All right, we're about 2.5 hours into our journey now. I don't even know where I am necessarily. Bowie? I don't know if that's a road or if that's a town. My geography for Texas is pretty embarrassing, especially considering the fact that I've lived here for 3 years. But at the same time, I lived in Dallas for 3 years, right? Texas is a huge, huge state. So yeah, I don't feel bad about that. Now we have about, let's see, it's 12:30 right now, so just under half an hour until we get to Henrietta, our next stop. The car is kind of shaking a bit, and I think that is an issue with the actual vehicle itself. This is a almost 10-year-old car, and I know that the older Tesla Model X's have this problem. I can't remember if it's the suspension, an issue with the suspension, or like the front axle, something with the front part of the car. Let me know down in the comments below what it is, because I'm forgetting it. We have 109 miles left in the tank, and 26 miles till we go to our exit. So yeah, we are definitely chilling. It says we'll have 34% by the time I get to Henrietta. Once we get into more middle of nowhere United States, that's where I think we might start seeing some issues. Sanity check though, I'm feeling good. I don't feel like I'm going crazy yet, not too bored. Off camera, I'm chilling, listening to music, making some phone calls, and it is a nice, comfortable ride. Now I think, and I don't know for sure, but based on what I'm looking at, we can get to New Mexico by 8 p.m., which isn't so bad. I could theoretically make it to Colorado by 10 p.m. I started the drive around 10 a.m., so that would be a 12-hour journey. Honestly, I think for the first day, that's really not so bad, and maybe I'll be able to make it in under 4 days. My goal is to arrive on the 4th day, but for the time being, we'll take it one step at a time. I'll see you guys in Henrietta. All right, we are in Henrietta, Texas. Something in my brain keeps wanting to say Henrietta, Georgia, and I don't know why. Anyway, we are just about 3 hours into our journey, and it says that we have an hour and a half roughly to continue our trip. I don't know if that means we have to charge beyond 80%. The other issue is some of these superchargers don't charge that fast at all. For example, this car is right now charging at 48 miles an hour, which is really not a lot. And now it's saying to get to Childress, Texas, we have 129 miles. There is 85 miles in the tank. What I might try to do later is get a different charger, because this supercharger, I don't know if it's not plugged in all the way or what, but it's taking way longer than I expect. Like, it's saying 30 miles an hour. So we're gonna give that a look. Hopefully it's not indicative of some problem with the battery. Now my range anxiety is starting to tickle just a little bit. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, well, I'm fine. I'm totally fine. 27 miles an hour charge is pretty not okay. Right now it's charging 28 miles an hour. That is pretty low. It's saying 2.5 hours to continue our trip. Normally I'm chilling at like 35 minutes, and last time it said it was going to take 35 minutes. Now it's saying estimated charge time 2.5 hours. So this might take us more than 4 days. I hope not. If it's a 2-hour stop every single time, we have about 13 more stops to make. Dude. Okay, crisis averted. Check this out. We are now charging at 335 miles an hour rather than 30 miles an hour. So based on my previous knowledge and also what I just looked up on the internet, having a shared circuit can reduce the rate of charge as well, but I was so far away from everybody else that there was no way I was sharing a circuit with anybody, so I think it was the specific charger that I was using, or maybe that circuit in general was broken, because I saw a couple pull up next to me, they plugged in their car, they looked inside, and I could tell something wasn't right. So they pulled out, went to a different charger, and I copied them, and lucky for me, not all the chargers are messed up, because that would have added about 2 hours to my journey. We had a 2.5 hour charge. Now we have 20 minutes left, and I've only been here for like 10 minutes. This place, this is classic Texas. We're by a gas station. We've got some steakhouses here, and we are about to get some good eating, I think. All right, let's get some steak. All right, so somebody in front of me got a sandwich, so I got a sandwich instead. Brisket sandwich and some veggies. All right, I absolutely bodied that meal. I needed it. My head was hurting. I didn't even realize it was hurting until I had that sandwich in my hand. I'm like, oh boy, yeah, I need this food. And I had a side of veggies with my pound of fat. So Mom, if you're watching this, you'll be happy to know I had some fiber with my high fat meal. Let's just say that. I got some protein bars for the road, and the next stop is Childress, Texas with a 9% charge. So far with stops, we are at about 4 hours and 45 minutes, but this is gonna be our longest stop because it was also a lunch stop. So we charged, had lunch, quite serendipitous. We had a steakhouse right next door to the charging station. So on to Childress, Texas. My range anxiety is tickling just a little bit because we have 9% allegedly by the time we get there, and it really depends on how I drive the car. We're slightly overcharged past 80%, not much. Yeah, so we'll see how this goes. And hopefully I see you guys in Childress, Texas next. All right, so status report. Elon Musk is gaslighting me. We were at 10%, roughly 10% estimated charge at the next charging station in Childress, Texas. We're not in Childress yet. We're about 80 miles out, 76 miles out. And then it dropped 4% to 6% estimated charge at the time of arrival. And then after it dropped 4%, it started dancing between 7% and 9%. Now we're at 7% again. So hopefully that is going to be the actual estimated charge. We have 121 miles in the battery and 75 miles to go. So probably going to be about 40 or 50 miles of charge left at the time of arrival to Childress. It's 3:26 p.m. at the moment, and our estimated time of arrival is 4:33. We have 20 miles in the tank. Oh man, okay, hopefully it charges quickly, not like last time where it was like 30 miles an hour. This was one of my more extreme battery estimates. So for Amarillo, before I stopped, it said it estimated 15% rather than 9%, and it's also 20 miles shorter, 21 miles, 22 miles shorter. So I'm pretty confident, but I'm gonna let it charge more than 50 minutes, I think. Right now it's charging 392 miles an hour, so it's charging even faster. I'm going to overcharge it again just a little bit, go to about 190 miles once again. I think that's a pretty good standard for the time being. It's nice to have that buffer because if I had not charged to 190 something miles, we would have been stranded, and that would have been embarrassing. So yeah, we're going to charge it to 190 miles. I might get up and walk around. It's 97 degrees out, so maybe I won't get up and walk around, but we'll see. We'll see. But yep, this is a Childress. I'm by a pack sack. I don't think I've ever even been in one of those. And it had such a small town look to it that I wasn't even convinced there was a real supercharger here. As you can see, I'm kind of sweaty, even with the AC on. It's just so hot. But one thing I will say is as I start going farther west, hopefully it's going to start cooling down and maybe I can save some battery by not using the AC too much. But we'll see. The next time I have such a long stretch, I think, is in Utah, so I have some time. I think we can maybe make it to New Mexico tonight. If not, we'll see. I might stop in Amarillo. My estimated time of arrival in Amarillo is 7:01, and then if I were to continue to New Mexico without stopping for dinner, it looks like it would be 9:53. So I might just eat the time cost and stop in Amarillo, get some food. I wasn't planning on going that far today anyway, but it would be cool to get out of Texas on the first day. I feel like that would be good for my morale, you know? I'm full of broccoli, I'm full of fatty brisket, and I have a lot of energy. In terms of fatigue, yeah, I feel like I could drive this car for a long time, even with the constant stopping. I think on average, I can last about 2 hours on a charge before stopping once again. The only thing is, I've had this happen once before. The supercharger that it told me existed didn't exist. So this happened, I think, in Washington. I went to a supercharger and it was not a real supercharger. It was like some off-brand supercharger that just didn't seem to work. So that's going to be an issue. But yeah, still smell like barbecue. Still have a lot of energy. My head hurts a little bit, but I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, maybe 5 or 6 hours because we were in the middle of a move. So I am running off a little bit less sleep. Also, I almost forgot to mention, we are now at 6 hours and just about 50 minutes, including stops. All things considered, still feeling pretty good. And we'll head out in about 45 to an hour, I think. We're gonna head out here in a second because we're at 199 miles. It says we'll get to Amarillo at 15% charge. I'm gonna drive it a little bit more sparingly. I won't be running it at 80 miles an hour all the way. 7:30 is the estimated time of arrival. We started at 11. Oh, also one thing I forgot to mention, we have 1,300 miles to my destination in Oregon. So we started at 1,500 miles. We knocked out roughly 200 miles. I checked how long it takes to get from Childress, Texas to Dallas, and it takes 3 hours. And look at how much time we've spent on the road, technically. Yep, you're looking at that right, almost 8 hours, but we did make one stop for lunch, and we have been stopping to charge. So I think after tomorrow, now that I have more of a feel for the car, we'll maybe save some time, or maybe this is just the nature. But 8 hours to make a 3-hour journey, almost 4-hour journey, I guess, 3.5 hours. And as you can see, we're hauling a lot of weight. So yep, super cool. We fucking ball. Let's go. All right, so off to Amarillo. We have 200 miles in the tank and 110 miles. Actually, no, it says 120 miles to go now. So, yeah, that's about almost exactly the distance we just did to Childress, but we have allegedly a 17% estimated charge at the time of arrival. We do have more miles in the tank, though, about 10 more miles. I'm also going to drive it a little more sparingly, a little more conservatively, because I was kind of feeling overconfident, and I think I didn't necessarily pay the price. In fact, I feel like I kind of saved myself some time by being a little bit ballsy, but you know, we'll drive it a bit slower. Lots of traffic incoming, so. So as you can see, a whole lot of flat and a whole lot of nothing, but status update, I still smell like barbecue, and you know what? What more could you ask for? So we are now in cruise control. It is pretty sensitive to the speed limit. I can encourage it to break the law, but like I said, we're going to allow it to drive a little more conservatively. The only time I'm really going to actually break the law is if I have to dodge traffic or a sketchy truck or something like that. Just, you know, zoom on out of there. The sun is setting, so I have a visor in my face, but we have 112 miles left in the tank, and we have, let's see, 50 miles exactly to go. So 50 miles on the dot, 112 miles left. I think we're gonna have about 50 miles left in the tank when all is said and done, which is 30 miles more than the 20 miles we had in Childress, Texas. So we'll see. I've been chilling in the slow lane. Right now I'm feeling a little more confident, so I have the auto cruise on 75 miles an hour, but I'm still in the slow lane because I'm not trying to tear up the battery. So there is no shame in being slow, okay? Slow and steady wins the race sometimes. And in the Tesla, all I need to reassure me and my ego is that I can get 0 to 60 faster than most of the cars on the road right now. And that makes me happy. So we're gonna go to Amarillo. I have my hotel, so we're gonna check in, then find ourselves some food, find ourselves a nice brew. I would have liked to get to New Mexico at the end of the day today, but I got a bit of a late start. I think I started around 10:30 or 11. So tomorrow I'm gonna get a much earlier start, and we're gonna see if we can make it to, well, we'll definitely make it to Colorado. We have 3 stops in Colorado after Clayton, New Mexico. And then after that, we have our next stop, which will be Wellington, Utah. So I think we'll be able to get through the majority of Colorado tomorrow, if not all of Colorado tomorrow, and make it to Utah. And then once we get to Utah, we only have 2 stops before we get to Idaho. And then after Idaho, we're in Oregon. So originally, my goal was to get from Texas to Oregon in about 4 days, and I think we can do it, if not less. So yeah, it's been a good journey so far. I'm feeling pretty good, not going to lie. I was kind of scared, and I'm feeling much more confident. I thought I was going to have a lot more range anxiety than I have. We'll see what happens when we get to Utah, though, because we have some pretty big stretches in Utah, I think. I'll have to take a look once we get to the hotel and take a look at the route. All right, we made it to Amarillo. It's currently 7:40, and let's take a look at the total time traveled, including stops. I must have accidentally pressed lap because it looks like there's a lap 1 and 2, but we're at just under 10 hours. Now, it doesn't really feel like 10 hours because there's a lot of stops, so it kind of gives you a little break from driving. In terms of driving fatigue, I'm starting to feel it. I'm starting to feel it. I'm getting a little groggy. There's a Holiday Inn right in front of me, but I got a different hotel for 92 bucks. That's a little cheaper. Holiday Inn was just unreasonably expensive for a last-minute reservation. What we're going to do is find some food, preferably a burrito, and then check into our hotel. It's only 7:40, and I think that's a decent enough stop because by the time we're done charging, by the time we're done eating dinner, it's already going to be late enough to justify going to sleep. I would have liked to make it to New Mexico. New Mexico is my next stop, but I also wasn't really expecting to drive so far on my first day because I was expecting to stay in Dallas a little bit longer than I actually did. So we had a little head start, and I'm satisfied with the fact that we made it to our last stop in Texas. So tomorrow it's going to be New Mexico, and then after that it's going to be 3 stops in Colorado, and we'll take it from there. Let's take a look at the current trajectory. So as you can see, we started in Dallas right there, and we made it 4 stops because I had a stop in Denton, even though I think we could have pulled off Henrietta. We have 11 more stops left, 11 more charging stops left. If I can do 4 stops per day, I think we can make it in 4 days. Although I might stop in Bend, Oregon to see my buddy, but at that point we'll have made it to Oregon, so I'll be satisfied. All right, burrito is acquired. It is in my belly. That I didn't realize this hotel is kind of sketchy, but it's fine. We're only here for a night. We're not even going to be here for like more than 12 hours, so I think we're fine. You know, maybe it's not so bad. I think we check in over here. Totally not filming myself just in case I get jumped or something. All right, we made it. Not too bad of a room. Yeah, so not bad, just one night. Today's trip took us 11 hours and 40 minutes with stops, with dinner, with everything. So not just the road, but also including stops. And I'm pausing it for the hotel, and we'll start it up again tomorrow morning. You can tell I'm sweaty. I've been walking around. This is on the 2nd floor with no elevator, so we're chilling. I'm gonna get some shut-eye, and I'll see you guys for day number 2. All right, guys, it is day 2. I just woke up. It's 8:30. Let's get on the road. All right, we are still in Amarillo, Texas. It's 9:38 a.m. It took me a little bit of time to pack, check out, and grab a coffee. Next destination is Clayton, New Mexico, which is 118 miles from our current location. We are gonna charge it a little bit over 80%, probably close to about 200 miles on the charge, because as we learned going to Childress, going 120 miles, going close to 120 miles on an 80% charge is risky, considering the fact we only had 20 miles left in the battery. And looking at the estimated charge right now, so we have 177 miles in the battery, and it says we have an estimated 3% battery left when we reach Clayton. I want at least a 10% estimated charge by the time we reach our destination, because my range anxiety is definitely kicking right now. It's going up to 4%. We have just about 178 miles in the tank. We're definitely gonna push this to 200, and we're gonna drive this thing like a grandpa, and we'll see how far we make it. So we'll let this thing charge, and Clayton, New Mexico, it says we'll arrive at about 11:50 a.m. Considering the fact I'll overcharge this just a little bit, I expect that we're gonna arrive around 12:20, 12:30. It's currently 9:40 in the morning right now, so about a 3-hour journey, including the charge, I think. And we'll see how it goes. All right, so we charged it to 202 miles at the supercharger, and we have 118 miles to go. And now it says we have a 27% estimated charge at the time of arrival, which is a very comfortable estimate, but I still don't know if I trust it, considering the fact we only had 20 miles left when we arrived to Childress, Texas. And at that point, we had 180 miles in the tank, and we had only 121 miles to go to that destination. So I'm not entirely sure how accurate this is at the moment. I think we'll be okay. I'm definitely confident we'll make it to New Mexico for sure. I just don't know how many miles we'll have left in the battery. At the very least, we have a very comfortable cushion, so I think we're okay, but I'm officially traumatized. Once we reach a more consistent road where we have like 60 miles of nothing, I'll kick it into auto cruise, save some battery. That's, I think, been really helpful. For the time being though, we're comfortable. We're driving behind a semi-truck. It's relatively early in the morning. I would have liked to get an earlier start because it's 10 a.m. right now, and I think last time I left at around 11 a.m. But it's what it is. I'm gonna see if I can make it to the last destination in Colorado, which is going to be, let's take a look. Grand Junction, Colorado is our last destination in Colorado. And currently it says we'll arrive there at 9:33 p.m. I didn't sleep super well in the hotel. It just took me a long time to fall asleep. Once I was asleep, it was great, but I am running off about 6 hours of sleep. I'm feeling good though. I have my white girl coffee. We are vibing right now. All right, so we made it to Clayton with 37 miles to spare. So a little risky, but not as bad as Childress, Texas. The next stop is going to be a lot more chill. So we're going from Clayton to Trinidad. And if we select Trinidad, it's only 87.8 miles away. So basically 90 miles away. So far this trip, we've done a total of 15 hours. So really not so bad. I feel like we're making pretty good time. We also made it to Trinidad at about 12:10 and my guess was gonna be around 12:30. So we're making pretty good time. There is a farmer's market right behind me. So I'm gonna see if they have any deli sandwiches or something that I can just eat quick while we're charging the car, because it says 35 minutes to continue the trip, but I'm gonna charge it closer to 200 miles, which means it's probably gonna be more like 45 to 50 minutes. So we have some time to chill out. All right, AC is blasting. It's only 86 degrees out, but you know, in the car, it gets pretty hot. We found ourselves a sandwich. We have 154 miles charged already and only 80, I guess 90 miles to go. So we're gonna eat this thing and then head out once we're closer to 200. I'm still gonna give it a bit of cushion just in case we have more elevation gain than I anticipate. Okay, we absolutely inhaled that meal and I think we saved ourselves a lot of time eating while charging the car. Also, one thing I forgot to mention is that we're about 16 hours into our journey total, minus the sleeping at the hotel. And our estimated time of arrival to Trinidad is 2:36 p.m. It's currently 1:09 p.m. So I'm feeling like we're doing pretty good on time. I think we can for sure make it to Poncha Springs. It says that we'll make it to Poncha Springs at 5:43 p.m. and then Grand Junction, Colorado at 9:48 p.m. I think we can make it to Grand Junction if all goes well. Now, looking at the map, it appears that some of our climbing starts on the way to Trinidad, and Trinidad is a bit closer than Poncha Springs. I'll keep you posted. We'll see how it goes. I'm totally not scared right now. And dude, check out this train. This is crazy. Man, that is wild. Currently, we are on cruise control, lane assist, and no cars around me except up front. And this is the longest train I think I've ever seen. It just keeps going, man. Guys, there's a dog barking at me. So we made it to Trinidad at 1:54 p.m. Currently, it's been 17 hours and 40 minutes since we started traveling, but we have a bit of a problem. So it's currently stuck loading, and the reason I canceled my trip is because it said Poncha Springs was 150 miles away, not 120 miles away. And I know for a damn fact we're not making it 150 miles even with a full 100% charge based on the way I've been seeing the battery go. So I'm kind of scared. I tried to put in Poncha Springs in manually, but we don't have service here. I'm trying to use my phone as a hotspot, but I have one bar and it's not loading, and the car by itself is on 3G and that's also not loading. So I guess worst case scenario is we walk around or try to find some place with free Wi-Fi so we can get service, so we can put in an updated route to make sure that Poncha Springs is actually 127 miles away versus 150 miles away, because that that is a big difference, a big enough difference that it would be life or death, man. So we're gonna see how to figure this out. I know there's an answer. We have 40 minutes till we get a 100% charge anyway, so we have some time to walk around and maybe find a place with either cell service or free Wi-Fi. So we might have to explore Trinidad for a while, which would not be ideal because I'm trying to be as fast as possible, although I feel like we're making pretty good time. I mean, we're in Colorado already, but this was not part of the plan. This was not in the simulations, so yeah. And I'm not anxious in terms of range, I'm more anxious in terms of making sure that we have a correct route and that we're able to actually input a route. So there's a roundabout here, there's I think some gas stations maybe across the bridge, and maybe a hotel that I'm looking at. I know for a fact a hotel should have free Wi-Fi, and maybe if I bribe them, they'll let me use it. For the time being though, it looks like my phone is not going to load the route, because look at this, we've been talking the whole time for like 3 minutes and this MF is still loading. Oh dude, like what the hell, man. This is more or less stressful. Obviously it's not working on the phone, so what I'm going to do is turn off the personal hotspot and see if Tesla can just figure its own self out, and hopefully we'll be able to be on the road in about 35 minutes. Okay, so as I was walking around to find service, it started raining on me. As you can see, it got really windy. Maybe you can see that Wendy's flag there just blowing in the wind. A really dark cloud up above us. No storm, no thunderstorm yet, but I feel like I could smell it. It's pretty dark out here. But an update on our current route. So there's no way we're going to Poncha Springs. It's 152 miles away. So what we're going to do is go to Pueblo, which is 87 miles. And then from Pueblo, we'll recalculate our route, but I expect we'll then go to Poncha Springs. So we're adding one more stop than I had anticipated, but I think it only adds about 30 to 40 miles, which in the grand scheme of things isn't so bad, because there's no way, there is absolutely no way we would have made it to Poncha Springs from Trinidad. And I'm so glad I checked. Otherwise, we might have gotten stranded, and that would have been a big headache, but it would be good for the content. So I don't know, maybe I should do it anyway. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna go to Pueblo. We're at about 192 miles of charge with 87 miles to go. That is plenty. So we're gonna go ahead and unplug and continue our journey so we waste no more time. It says we'll get there at about 3:30 p.m. Honestly, not too bad. Taking a look at the timer, we're at about 18 hours total driven, and I'm still feeling good. Might eat a protein bar, but bro, I am so glad I checked the distance to Poncha Springs. That would have been so scary. Man, I really hope my time-lapse got that, because I'm seeing some air-to-ground lightning just to my left, and dude, it is super windy right now. The car is literally swaying back and forth. This is some of the strongest wind I've ever driven in. I'm keeping my camera on the road because as I was filming my time-lapse, there were 3 big bolts of lightning straight ahead of me, and that's exactly where we're driving. So hopefully we drive through it quickly and my car doesn't get struck by lightning. Dude, it's one thing after another. It is so windy right now. My car is swaying left and right. This is stormy weather right now. Oh, yep, there's a bolt of lightning. Hopefully we caught that. So in terms of range, I'm not too concerned. We're 77 miles out from Pueblo. We have 180 miles in the car. I did look it up earlier. If a Tesla gets struck by lightning, I'm unlikely to die. Oh man, now I feel like a storm chaser. Now I'm used to driving in stormy conditions. I drive in stormy conditions almost all the time, but usually it's wintry storms like ice storms, snow storms, things like that. Not typically used to driving in wind storms / lightning storms. Lightning freaks me out, dude. Not gonna lie. But the Colorado people, they literally do not care. Look at this truck, and we're about to see another truck behind me. I mean, we're going 60, so now we're going a little bit slow. I don't know if that's a Texas plate in front of me, but I feel you, man. I totally feel you. All right, we're back in a storm. I don't know if you guys just saw that lightning bolt. Here we go. Oh man, okay, yeah, so I had to stop the music. But anyway, I think we're under the worst of it right now. There's some flooding on the road. Not so much on my side necessarily, but I saw a lot on the left side. What I'm going to do is look up the weather conditions and make sure that the roads are passable towards like Poncha Springs or something like that. I don't know if the roads might have flooded. I don't know what the trees are like, kind of thing, you know. So yeah, traffic is going pretty slow, about 10 miles under the speed limit. I have 0.3 miles. I have to take exit 98B, which looks like it is the city center exit right here. So we are going to move over, and yeah, we're gonna keep on trekking, man. Oh, here we go. This looks rough. I've never seen roads like this. But luckily we're getting off the freeway. Hopefully there's not too much traffic on the way out. Bruh, this is wild, and this is wild. I'm used to rain. I'm not used to heavy thunderstorm kind of rain. Oregon rain is more like mist, you know what I mean? Yeah, so pretty stormy, but like I said, I think we're under the worst of it, literally under the worst of it. I see some clear skies around me. It's a bit early for dinner. It's only 3:30, so I feel like we're making pretty good time. Had a bit of a protein bar, but I'm starting to feel the hunger. Dude. Okay, how do I, oh, bruh. Oh my God. Oh my God. Here we go. Real quick. And we're in. And I forgot to mention, we're at 19 and a half hours, just over 19 and a half hours, and we arrived at around, I want to say 3:45. It's 3:54 right now, and we have allegedly 20 minutes to continue our trip. Now, the issue is, it wants us to go to Johnstown, Colorado next instead of Poncha Springs, and yeah, that's going to be 154 miles away. We're not doing that. We're not doing anything over 120 miles based on my previous experience, but what's really cool is we can press this charge icon and it will show us all the chargers available basically on the map. So I checked the weather and it said it was isolated thunderstorms for about another hour, so I'm not too concerned about that. But what I want to do is find chargers that are closer than like 150 miles away. So it wants us to go from Johnstown to Rawlins. Now the issue is, look at this. If we keep going north, there are not a lot of chargers here. There's actually one in between. So what is this one? Okay, so we have an option here. Now the issue is we have to start routing, I think, more or less manually until it stops trying to route us 150 miles away. Like, come on, Tesla. We can go west through Wyoming. Originally, we were going to go through Utah. We can go through like Moab area. Moab looks like it has a lot of routes. Okay, let me think about this for a sec. I think I found the solution. So there's an app called ABRP, which allows you to do EV routing. Now, this one thinks it's gonna take us 22 hours and 20 charges, but that is from my settings. So we can set our preferences, right? So we can do quickest arrival, we can do short but many charges, few but long. I experimented with this, and going extreme only adds, or only deducts, I should say, 30 minutes from my route. So I was like, okay, let's do some shorter distances so we don't have to worry about overextending the battery. And now take a look at our route. So if we scroll, we can see the miles to the next destination. So for example, this is 63 miles to the next destination, which is going to be Monument, Colorado. And from there, it's going to be 30 miles to Thornton. Now, what we can do is just use this as a point of reference, because I'm very comfortable driving 90 miles. 64 is a bit short. So what we can effectively do is double up on some of these. 89 miles, maybe I'll do at once, and then 96 miles here, as we can see. Yeah, so that's fine, but what I'll do is use this as a reference. So instead of going to Monument, Colorado, we'll just skip Monument, Colorado and take the extra 30 miles and go straight to Thornton, Colorado, and then we'll go to Johnstown later. Okay, it says it's 125 miles. That's a little sketchy for me. You know what? We're gonna send it because we have 205 miles in the tank, and we've gone 121 miles before and we made it. So we're gonna try going the 125 miles. It's not like we haven't done it before. And what we're gonna do, if it gets sketchy, we can always go to Monument, Colorado first. I'm gonna keep an eye on this. This one is 64 miles away. So at that point, I think we'll have enough data to decide if we wanna stop at Monument, Colorado. So what I'll do is click drive on the app and then keep an eye on this and basically use two different navigations and see, based on my mileage, which one we're gonna stop at first. And if you're thinking, man, this seems like so much hassle for a drive cross country, yeah, it is. And if you don't want a Tesla, I don't blame you. It's a nice ride, but this is crazy. Okay, so destination is Thornton, Colorado. It says we'll have 33% battery left by the time we get there. We did overcharge it a bit more than I anticipated because I was kind of messing around with the app. So we have 211 miles in the tank. I'm feeling pretty good for the time being. One thing I forgot to mention was the new route. I was so overwhelmed. So instead of going west towards Poncha Springs, we are going north towards Denver. Then from Denver, we go a little bit farther north and then cut west towards Salt Lake City. From Salt Lake City, we go towards Twin Falls, Idaho. And I didn't look too far ahead in Oregon, but it looks like we might go towards Haines, Oregon, and then kind of eastern Oregon towards Bend. I think Bend is our last charging stop, and my buddy lives in Redmond, which is just next to Bend. So I'll stop and kick it with him in Bend, Oregon, or Redmond, Oregon. And then from there, we are home back in Eugene. So this is quite a journey, but I'm glad I found this app, man. It has, I think, quite literally saved my life, not to be over dramatic or anything. Anyway, I'll see you guys in Thornton. Okay, we're not in Thornton yet because the traffic is crazy. I've been going like 20 to 40 miles an hour for the past 40 minutes, I want to say. So I just pulled off the next exit to see what I could find. I found a restaurant called Guadalajara, which is a family Mexican restaurant. We're gonna have dinner now instead of having dinner in Thornton, and see if chilling out for maybe an hour will let the traffic die down. And in that case, I can just hop to Thornton, charge, and then go to whatever next destination is on my ABPR planning app. All right, burrito number 2 of this trip is acquired. If there's something you got to know about me, I could eat burritos every meal of the day, man. Also, something I gotta say, Texas has the worst Mexican food I've had. I'm so sorry if I triggered any Texans, but man, as soon as I left Texas, bro, Colorado, the first restaurant I went to, one of the best burritos I've ever had. Texas, or at least Dallas, because I know some people don't consider Dallas part of Texas, I gotta say, has very underwhelming burritos, bro. And I was on the hunt for 3 years for a good burrito, and I never found one. And what do you know? The first random Mexican restaurant I found in Colorado, one of the best burritos ever. I don't make the rules, man. I don't know who designed this, but I'm just saying it how it is. Anyway, it looks like our strat paid off because we are cruising at 77 miles an hour versus 20 miles an hour on our way to Thornton, Colorado. We're just gonna quickly charge and then go to the next stop. I think this was a good economical decision on my part where time is concerned, because otherwise I would have been stuck in traffic and then I would have had to have dinner later. So in my mind, I saved at least 45 minutes to an hour. And that's something you got to pay attention to if you are driving electric cross country. Anyway, I'll see you guys in a little bit. We're going to drive all the way to Thornton. We have about 38 minutes left and 38 miles, and we have 111 miles in the tank. So we are very comfortable. All right, we made it to Thornton. We got here about 20 minutes ago. I took some time figuring out my route and my lodging situation. We have 167 miles in the battery. We're charging a little bit more. We'll probably charge to about 200 miles again. And guys, we have some exciting news. We are making it out of Colorado. We're gonna end day number 2 in Wyoming. And it's awesome that we're ending the day in Wyoming. We didn't even have to spend a single night in Colorado. So Laramie, the hotels are a little bit expensive, but to save time, I'm willing to pay that price, because otherwise I might spend an extra night in a hotel, and at that point I'm not saving any money. One nice thing about this hotel is that the superchargers are in its parking lot, so I don't have to do any extra driving or anything like that. We just drive up, charge our car, go to the hotel, crash, and then we're on day number 3. This is awesome. Oh man, this is going way better than I expected. I mean, once we got to Trinidad, dude, and we had no service, and the next stop was 150 miles away, I was starting to get scared. I was like, I have no idea what to do, but I'm so glad it's worked out. It's been a fun adventure so far. It's been a really fun adventure. In terms of range anxiety, I'm not feeling it anymore at all. I mean, I would say the most range anxiety I felt so far was towards the end of Childress, Texas, where we had about 20 miles in the tank. And then once we got to Trinidad, when we were basically driving blind at that point, but we can see now, and things are looking really good, man. All right, we are on the road. It's 8:52 p.m. to get to Loramie. I believe it's actually pronounced Loramie. Correct me if I am wrong. But to get to Loramie, it's going to take us 1 hour and 50 minutes. So a little bit of a trek for our final stop of the night, but we're gonna end the night at 10:42 p.m. And man, I can't express enough how stoked I am that we are ending the night in Wyoming. We did not have to spend a night in Colorado. I feel like we're saving so much time, and we'll see how far we get tomorrow, but I'm feeling really good right now. Dinner really energized me. For a second, I thought the driving fatigue was finally getting to me, considering the fact that, not including the night in the hotel, we've been on the road for just over a day. But dog, we are doing it, man. We are cruising and saving some time. I'll have to see how many miles I did today. I think it's been about 450 miles, considering the fact that we have to stop about every 2 hours or every 120 miles. Really not so bad. And also, I gotta say, the drivers in Denver drive a lot like the drivers in Dallas, so respect. But at the same time, don't unalive yourselves. Have some chill. It's fine. We're all gonna get there eventually. Oh my God, dude, we made it. We made it. We're in Loramie, Wyoming. It is 10:45 p.m. That was about an hour and 45-minute drive, and I'm feeling the fatigue, both driving fatigue and just general fatigue. I am dying, but my job has trained me well in the art of self-torture, and this is still easier on the hours than my day job, so maybe I really should do a career change into trucking. But either way, we made it. I'll calculate how many miles we did today. It was from Amarillo, is that right? Amarillo, Texas to Loramie, Wyoming. We drove through Texas, technically speaking, New Mexico, Colorado, and made it to Wyoming. This has been an adventure so far. Let's take a look at how long it's been total. 26 and a half hours. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, it's backwards. We'll put that on the screen later. But dude, I am dying. I am absolutely gassed, dude, but I am also very satisfied with how far we made it today. I believe we're outside the hotel, so we're gonna get checked in before something happens, pass out, and do it all over again tomorrow. Oh boy. All right, we're all checked into the hotel. I'm just looking at my route while we pre-charge the car. And this isn't necessarily the route I'll take. This is kind of just eyeballing where we're going to be going. So, according to the Tesla trip planner, we're going to Rawlins, Wyoming tomorrow, which is 80 miles away. Then it wants us to go to Rock Springs, Wyoming. But what I'm looking at is the final destination. So after Wyoming, it wants us to go to Utah and then Idaho. I think we can make it to Idaho by tomorrow, which is super exciting because after Idaho, it is Oregon. We are making incredibly good time. Here we are in Wyoming. If we zoom out, we can see where we started. Dallas is somewhere around here. So we're at just about the halfway point and we are concluding day number 2. I still have the timer going for the sake of consistency. We'll stop it when we're in the room, all settled and ready to go to sleep. I think Loramie is around 7,000 something feet. I'm no stranger to elevation. I snowboard a lot, so it should be fine. I don't really feel it right now, but I haven't gone to a higher elevation since the winter, and it's, it's end of June right now. But I'm feeling good, just really tired from the drive, but I'm also really satisfied with the progress we've made. Dude, what is going on at Loramie? I had to fight my way for parking. Look at this, and that's not even like half of it. Hopefully I can get in through there. We'll see. All right, time to pack this up. Oh, That never gets old. All right. Oh. Been sitting all day. Okay. Yo. Where's the light switch, dude? Oh my God, this is a full-on apartment. Oh. Yeah. That is not bad. Not bad at all. It was a bit pricey, but also paying a bit for convenience because the charger's just outside. I don't necessarily want to reserve a spot too far in advance just in case I either can't make it or could go farther. So I'm kind of reserving spots last minute as I go. Basically, once I know I'm going to my final destination, that's where we're going to land. That's where we're going to reserve a room, right? Costs a bit more than if you were to reserve it in advance, but you're also paying for convenience and also hopefully to save some time. And man, I look like I've been on the road for 12 hours. My hair is messed up, I'm sweaty, I am disgusting, and I'm ready to go to sleep. But this room is awesome, man. Fancy AF, dude, god damn. Boom, 27 hours and just about 15 minutes. Pause the clock since we are at the hotel. We're about to crash. One thing about this hotel is it does have breakfast included. Typically I don't eat breakfast, but my idea is if I load up on breakfast, I might be able to push through until dinner if I have like a protein bar or something on the road. So maybe I'll eat breakfast tomorrow morning, then maybe eat an early dinner around 5:30 somewhere, save some more time, and see if we can push through. But we'll see tomorrow morning anyway. I'm gonna crash. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, we just woke up, had ourselves a continental breakfast, nothing too fancy, but hopefully it satiates us enough to either skip lunch or just grab a snack at the next charging stop. We're gonna go ahead, get packed, start the timer, and set off to Rawlins, Wyoming. All right, so I forgot to show the start of the timer, but we are 27 hours and 17 minutes into our journey. Regarding the route, both the travel app and Tesla want us to go to Rawlins, Wyoming, and then Rock Springs, Wyoming, but then it differs. The app wants us to go to Evanston, Wyoming, and Tesla wants us to go to far west Utah. So we'll see what the battery situation is like. We'll go to Rock Springs and then see if we have to diverge from the Tesla route and follow the app route. All right, so we are on the road. We set off at about 9:40 in the morning, a little later than I wanted to, but I got caught up with packing. I lost this freaking mic under a pillow somehow. It was a bit of a mess of a morning, but we are on the road. I got a black coffee this time, so no white girl drink today. A coffee courtesy of the hotel. Not too bad, at least it's free, right? This is the start of day 3. We'll see if we can make it to Oregon by tomorrow and my final destination by tomorrow. We have 209 miles in the battery and only 92 miles to go to get to our next destination. So I'm feeling really comfortable right now. It was a bit dark by the time I got to Wyoming, so I couldn't really see any of the scenery. And yeah, it's a whole lot of flat. The only difference is we're at 7,200 feet. It's a bit of a high mountain desert kind of look to it. I have no idea if Laramie is actually a high mountain desert. I really know nothing about Laramie. I've only been to Wyoming twice, once driving to Texas and now once driving back from Texas to Oregon. Feeling good though, got a gnarly bug bite on my wrist. So a mosquito or something must have gotten into my room. There is a cop on my left. But the speed limit here is 80 miles an hour, and there's no way I'm going to go consistently 80 miles an hour in the Tesla simply because I don't want to tear up the battery. Right now I'm feeling pretty safe though, considering the fact that we do have 207 miles in the battery. I went to charge it while I was packing, so overcharged it just a little bit, which will save us some time in the long run, I think. Anyway, we've got about an hour and 20 minutes to Rawlins, Wyoming. We're gonna flip the camera around so you guys can see some of the scenery. It does look pretty nice. It has its own charm to it for sure. I love this kind of big open plains sort of scenery. Also, there are some mountains in the distance that are actually snow-capped. So it's a really nice view out here. I'm glad I get to see it in the daylight considering it was so dark last night. I mean, no street lights, hardly any reflectors on the road. It was just me and like 3 other cars, and that's it. Anyway, I'll see you guys in Rawlins. So we are taking a slight detour to pull over to a gas station because I think due to the lower temperature here in Wyoming than in Texas, my tire pressure has gone to about 37 and 38 all around, which is too low for the Tesla. I do have that air compressor though. So what we're going to do is just pull over into the parking lot, fill up the car tires, and then head out. I'll show you guys what it looks like. I just saw the tire thing, and then I was like, oh man, okay, we gotta fill this thing up. And this is what we're working with. So we're gonna fill each one up to about, I wanna say 41 or 42, and then at that point, when the tires heat up, they should even out. This thing is loud as fuck. Okay, I just discovered something super sick. Check this out. We'll see if we can get it to prompt. It has like an auto docking feature. Oh my God, dude. That's crazy. Computers, man. Technology. All right, we're finishing up our charge in Rawlins. It's 11:54. There's a Starbucks across the road. So what I'm going to do is just grab like a spinach wrap or something and eat on the road so we can drive through lunch and then stop somewhere for dinner later on as the day comes to a close. Now I'm still thinking about my route. The route planning app wants me to go through northern Oregon, which would be a little bit out of my way. I could just cut straight west. It also wants me to make 9 stops. This wants me to make 8 stops, but it's a similar issue to when we arrived at Trinidad, where some of these chargers are just way too far for me to actually make. So what we can do also is select this charging icon, and we can see what chargers are on the way. So for example, it wants me to go to Rock Springs, and then it wants me to go all the way to Ogden, but from Rock Springs to Ogden, I think is like 180 miles. There's no way I could make it in this car. So what I could do is go to Evanston, I believe, and charge here. That brings us closer to Ogden. And then from Ogden, we'll likely go up to Twin Falls, which is the route. We just have to kind of modify our charging stops. Then it gets kind of sketchy if I want to follow this, because I could go kind of northwest towards Boise, but I don't know the distance between Twin Falls and what is this? Mountain Home. That is something I'm going to look up. Give me just a sec. So that's actually not so bad. Twin Falls to Mountain Home is only 85 miles. So we could stop at Mountain Home, which is right here, or even stop somewhere in Boise, then make it to Ontario. Now this is where it gets sketchy. It wants us to take from Ontario to Burns, and I've driven this route before. Burns is a really isolated area, so we have to look up the distance between Ontario and Burns. Let's take a look. Okay, you know what? That's actually doable. Ontario to Burns is only 129 miles. Then we go from Burns to Bend, Oregon, which is actually 130 miles. So I think we can do this and save ourselves some time. The only thing we're gonna do is modify the charging stops from my current location all the way through Idaho. We might modify what the Tesla planner has. And then I think from Ontario to Burns, we're okay. From Burns to Bend, we are okay. and then we make it to Eugene, Oregon, which is my final stop. So I think this is okay. We're just gonna use these charging stops as a point of reference and then modify as we go. Luckily, the Tesla navigation does allow you to check out charging stops, and I think this is going to be faster than what the route planner has. The route planner gives you kind of guaranteed charging stops that are way within your vehicle's range, which I appreciate, but I think I'm going to go for mapping my own route at this point just for the sake of time. All right, food is acquired. Next stop is going to be Rock Springs, Wyoming. It says estimated time of arrival is going to be about 2 p.m. And then from there, I think we're gonna go to Evanston instead of Far West Utah. We'll see. Let's head out and not waste any more time. I'm gonna be eating while we're on the road, so hopefully that saves us a little bit of time throughout the day. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a whole lot of flat here in Wyoming, or at least in between Rawlins and Rock Springs, Wyoming. We have 180 miles in the tank and 94 miles to go. So I've decided that we're gonna go for more long haul kind of drives. It says that we'll reach somewhere around Mountain Home, Idaho. I don't know if that's going to be our last stop, but that's at 10:16 p.m. And from there, the next day, our first stop is going to be in Oregon. So we're officially going to be in Oregon, I guess, on day number 4. This is our 3rd day of driving. And then I have to make a decision. Am I gonna go for the long haul and drive all the way to my final destination, or stop somewhere in Bend, Oregon? If I were to drive right now nonstop, according to the Tesla system, it says I would make it to Oregon at 8:47 a.m. the next day. And my first stop in Oregon would have me arriving at 3:07 a.m. So I guess 5 hours from the first stop. I think we can do it. I think day 4, we can get to our final destination, which would make it Tuesday. We started on Saturday, so it would be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 4 days of driving. So really only added, hopefully, 1 day in the electric car versus what would have been a 3-day drive in the gas car, which is the drive I took from Oregon to Texas in the manual Mini Cooper. I'm feeling all right. I'm not fatigued right now, even though for some reason, I think I might just be too stimmed or something, because I'm not sleeping a lot of hours. I fall asleep and then I fall asleep fine, and then I wake up and I can't fall back asleep. And I think it's just because my mind can't shut itself off. I'm constantly thinking about the route, constantly thinking about how to make this the most time-efficient journey possible. We got about 90 miles left to go, and then we will be in Rock Springs, Wyoming around 2 o'clock. Do a charge there, and then head out to the next destination. I think it's going to be Evanston. So I'll see you guys in a sec. Okay, so here's our new plan. We're gonna go to Evanston, which is 99 miles away, so I don't think we even have to necessarily charge it up to 200. I might charge it up to 180 or 190 just in case. That also saves us some time for later. And then from Evanston, we'll go to Tremonton, which I think is 114 miles away. I'll have to double confirm that from Evanston, so we don't have to stop around the Ogden area. We can stop in Tremonton. Then from Tremonton, we'll either head straight to Twin Falls, which is right here, or we'll stop in Burley to charge up. And if we stop in Burley to charge up, we might be able to skip Twin Falls and go straight to Mountain Home, Idaho. So that is a total of 348 miles from our current location. That will put us very close to Boise, Idaho. And then tomorrow, the plan most likely will be for us to cross through Boise, which is right up here. Then we are going to go to Ontario, which I think is Ontario, Oregon. Yep, Ontario. From Ontario, we'll head off to Burns. From Burns, I think we can make it to Bend. And then from Bend, it is all the way home to Eugene, which is my final destination. West Coast, baby, here we go. So we're gonna give this thing some time to charge. I really have to let the floodgates open. There's not really anything around here. I mean, there's a TJ Maxx. You know, it's okay. We'll pretend to be a patron. They won't notice a thing. All right, we're on our way to Evanston, Wyoming. Estimated time of arrival is just about 4 p.m. I feel like that's a bit early for dinner. We'll see if I wanna just grab an early bite and then just mob to the next stop. And for now, we have about an hour and a half to our next destination, 92 miles to go with 170 miles in the battery. So I did not overcharge beyond 80% this time. 80% for me, I think, is about 180 miles. So just under 80%, and I'm feeling really solid right now. So we're gonna switch the camera around and I'll see you guys in Evanston. Ugh. Goddamn. Okay, we made it to Evanston. A truck almost ran me off the road and it decalibrated my lane auto assist, which prevented me from using the autopilot. It was fine though. We only had 30 minutes left at the time that happened, but I am starting to feel the fatigue. Physically, I feel strong, but it's just so much driving, man, and we still have a ways to go. But I'm pretty confident with what Tesla is showing us right now, so let's take a look. So our next stop is going to be Tremonton, and it says we'll arrive there at around 6:10 p.m. It's currently 4:05 p.m. I don't think I'm gonna do dinner yet, although that might be a possibility. We'll see. It would be an early dinner, but what we'll do is go to Tremonton and then Burley, Idaho. And at the time we arrive in Burley, it's going to be 8:27 p.m. and then I'll have a decision to make. Will I go to Mountain Home, Idaho and get a hotel there? It says I would arrive at 10:53, but let's push everything ahead about 1 hour because I still gotta eat, which means I'd get there closer to midnight. What I think I'm going to do is probably stop in Burley, hopefully get a good night's rest, and then from Burley, we'll only have 4 stops. We'll have Mountain Home, Idaho, Ontario, Oregon, Hines, Oregon, and Bend, Oregon, and then my last stop, which is Eugene, Oregon, and we've been able to do 5 stops already in one day, so I'm pretty sure we'll be able to finish this off on day number 4, which would be amazing. So I'm gonna see what we're gonna do about the food situation, if we're gonna do that in Tremonton or if we're just gonna have an early dinner here, and maybe that will just give us some more energy so we can jump to the next 2 stops. The more I think about it, the more I'm thinking we'll stop in Burley rather than going to Twin Falls today. And we're currently parked outside a Hampton Inn, no food to speak of here, so I would have to find something close by. Okay, you know what? We found Pancho's Mexican food, 4.4 stars out of 5. It's only 0.7 miles away. Dare I say, should we get another burrito? The answer is yes. This is a bit of an early dinner, but at the same time, I'm operating on Central Time, so we're technically an hour ahead. So even though it's 4:15 right now, it's like 5 o'clock for me. Getting an early bite will also, I feel like, just save us some time. We'll get to Burley, Idaho, and be able to hopefully crash early so we can start off early for tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and reserve a hotel room and then get some food once our car is done charging. Let's go. Got Pancho's right there, the sign. Hopefully they have margaritas though. You know you're getting close to the West Coast when they have the option to put fries in the burrito. I feel like I'm right at home. Man, I was taking some B-roll. We are getting into some gorgeous, gorgeous scenery. Finally, this is the stuff that I missed. Texas was great socially. I mean, it's a huge metropolitan area, and for me as a rock climber, I don't really rock climb so much anymore, but that's how I found one of my big friend groups out in the Dallas area. If you guys are watching this, love you guys. These hills are more reminiscent of like Eastern Oregon, maybe Burns area. Burns is a bit flat, but the brown kind of high desert rolling hills, very dry looking, not a lot of trees, but a lot of bushes, you know, stuff like that. Kind of just this vast wilderness area, man. It is beautiful out and it makes for a very nice drive. I'm glad we made it before sunset. It is currently 5:50, so almost 6 o'clock. We are exactly an hour and 10 minutes away from Tremonton. So we'll arrive at 7:01 p.m. it looks like, but all things considered, making pretty good time. So I was talking with my people back in Oregon, and they're saying, based on my stop in Burley, Idaho tonight, that I will be 80 miles out from the equivalent I've driven today. So I've driven like 530 something miles maybe. It would take me, I think it'd be like 610 miles or something. I have to double check that. I have to fact check them because I didn't fact check them. So I have to check what the distance is between Laramie and Burley. So Laramie, Wyoming, and Burley, Idaho. And then I have to check from Burley to Eugene, Oregon, which is my final destination, and get the difference from those two distances and see how much longer I'll have to drive. But I don't know about you guys, as soon as I know I'm on the final stretch, it's like a sprint. So if I have to drive an extra 80 miles tomorrow to the equivalent of what I've driven today, I'm gonna fucking do it, bro. I'm gonna be able to do that and also save some money on a hotel, right? But more importantly, I'll reach my self-imposed deadline to get home from Dallas to Oregon in a Tesla Model X, an old Tesla Model X with very limited mileage, but honestly, it's not hurting so bad. Maybe one day my dad will let me borrow his long-range EV and I can do this trip again if I'm crazy enough to do it and compare how long it takes driving a long-distance EV versus a big, not really economical SUV in terms of the miles. Anyway, enjoy the scenery. All right, we made it to Tremonton, Utah. It's 7:16 p.m. Next stop is Burley, Idaho, which is 109 miles away. It says that we'll make it at around 9:02 p.m. I suspect we're gonna get there around 9:30 because I'm gonna charge up the car to about 180, 190 miles and then charge up a little bit in Burley and then check into the hotel. I'm still feeling pretty good. I definitely have to stand up and stretch because I've been sitting for days and my body freaking hurts, bro. It's also probably good that we ate in Evanston because there doesn't appear to be anything here except for industrial stuff. Like, I don't even know what these are to my right. Like those things, what are those things? Like some sort of industrial stuff. Bro, it is so hot, but it's so nice to be walking around and stretching our legs, and the scenery is actually pretty nice. It reminds me of like Southern Oregon, like Ashland or something. Although if you've been to Ashland, you'll quickly realize it's nothing like Ashland. It's just the mountains around that look like Ashland, but this is very much not a college town. It's also hot as hell. I mean, 94 degrees. I just said I could handle it, but I'm already over the heat. Actually, just across the road, it looks like there's a gas station convenience store right over that way. So we'll walk over the gravel and see if we can find ourselves some water and maybe something else to drink, something a little sweet, just to give us a little more energy for the final stretch. 109 miles. Walking around feels good though, I gotta tell you. Yeah, like what are these tubes, bro? I'm seeing them everywhere. I mean, look at this. More tubes. Hopefully I don't step on glass or anything. Oh, dogs are out, full free. Take a screenshot. All right, water is acquired and coconut water is also acquired. Also, there was more Southern talking in that Utah convenience store than I've heard in my entire 3 years in Dallas combined. The views though are sick. I love me my small town vibes, dude. Also a time check, it's been 37 hours and 14 minutes, not including hotels since we started this journey. It's probably gonna be like 51 hours by the time we're done. That is brutal, but it's also the nature of driving electric. I signed up for this. For real though, I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. This is literally crazy. All right, so we are on our way to our final destination of day number 3, Burley, Idaho. Estimated time of arrival is 9:16 p.m. What we're going to do is pre-charge the car like we have been doing, and then we'll check into the hotel. We won't overcharge it. We'll charge it maybe a little bit more tomorrow morning before we head out. Before the sun sets, I'm going to flip the camera around just so you guys can see a little bit of what I am seeing, and I'll see you guys, hopefully, in Burley, Idaho. All right, we have made it to Burley, Idaho. It is 9:23 p.m. right now. We arrived just about 3 minutes ago at 9:20 p.m. Next stop is going to be Mountain Home, Idaho tomorrow. If we were to leave tonight though, we would arrive at 11:33 p.m. roughly. In hindsight, we probably could have done that. That would be a 120-mile head start to tomorrow. It's only 9:30 right now, and I think I have 2 hours of driving in me, but we already made the hotel reservation, and I didn't pay for the protection plan, so that is my fault. I never pay for those anyway. So we're just gonna get some extra rest tonight, maybe try to get an early start tomorrow. I said that every single time, and every single time I didn't leave as early as I wanted to, but it's fine. I think once I see those familiar roads back home, it's going to give me a boost of energy and a boost of morale, and we'll be able to push through the extra 70 or 80 miles that it's going to take to get back home. But it's been a really, really beautiful drive. We saw a killer sunset, which hopefully you guys got to see in the time lapse. We have a little bit of it left over, but it doesn't really translate on camera, unfortunately. I'm also the only person at this Tesla stop, and I'm not gonna lie, I think it's the sketchiest Tesla stop I've been at so far. It's just, it doesn't look like a safe place to be. Right now, all the stores are closed. I don't even know if there's a place I can grab a bite to eat. I mean, I already had an early dinner, but I'm kind of hungry right now. I do have a protein bar though, and I have an orange. I think that's probably going to set me straight. And I just made a random reservation at the cheapest hotel I could find, which was a Best Western, so I mean, those are pretty good. All right, so we're already checked in, but here it is, the Best Western. It's like a budget Best Western. But apparently there's a bar that gives us 10% off of food and drinks if we showed them the room key. So we might get a beer and maybe a little snack. But first things first, let's go ahead and find our room. It's room 117, which is around the corner, I think. The TV being on freaked me out. Okay, it doesn't smell bad in here at least. Let's check the bed. Okay, this is fine. I also like the fact that my car is literally right outside my door, so nobody's gonna grab my shit without me knowing. All right, and we're stopping the timer officially at 40 hours. That is crazy. So I think we already have our route mapped. I think we're all set there. So one last stop in Idaho, then Ontario, Oregon, then Burns, then Bend, then Eugene, and then we're done. Hopefully able to do that all by tomorrow. It's 10:20 right now, 10:20 p.m. I'm gonna see what kind of food or drink situation they got going on and then call it a night. Had ourselves a much needed beer, now off to bed. All right, we woke up just a little bit ago and showered. It is 8 in the morning. I think we're off to a really great start. We're gonna go ahead and finish up packing the car, grab some coffee, and check out. All right, we're charging. I expect we'll be here for about 15 or 20 minutes, get it up to 200. Mountain Home, Idaho is 120 miles away, so I wanna make sure that we're charged up nice and solid before the road. Okay, we're just about done charging, and here is our current route. So from Burley, we go to Mountain Home, which is about 120 miles, and then I think it's another 120 miles or so from Mountain Home to Ontario, Oregon. From Ontario, Oregon, we go to Burns, and then from Burns, we go to Bend. I think these are all about 120 miles from each other. And then from Bend, I think it's closer to like 130 miles to get to Eugene, Oregon, which is my final destination. So the final stretch is going to be a little bit scary for me in terms of range, because these are mountain pass roads, mostly single lane roads all the way from Bend through to Eugene. There are some hills, but we'll mostly be going downhill. We'll be losing elevation, so that's okay. But in terms of range, I feel like that's really going to push the car. So in Bend, we'll definitely be charging it up to 200 something miles and then driving from Bend to Eugene. That's about a 2.5 hour to 3 hour drive depending on the traffic. So a lot longer than our typical stretches of about an hour and a half to 2 hours. For our next stop, it says it's going to take about an hour and 40 minutes to get 119 miles. Not so bad. We're gonna leave in about 5 minutes here, so I'll see you guys on the road. All right, we are on the way. There's a bunch of construction, and I thought I made a wrong turn, and I was like, damn, I have to reroute myself all the way to the highway, and I have no idea where I am, but it turned out fine. Basically now we have a straight shot all the way to Mountain Home, Idaho. It's 116 miles away, and our next charging stop is 117 miles away. Right now it's a whole lot of flat, but if I see some good scenery, I will for sure flip the camera around and show you guys what I am looking at. For the time being, we have an hour and a half actually left to Mountain Home. There might be some traffic on the way, so we're just gonna chill out. All right, we're still on our way to Mountain Home, but the coffee has cooled down and it has a distinct soapy flavor to it. Unfortunately, we're not gonna drink that, and we have to persevere for the next 1 hour without caffeine. I can only hope that there's going to be caffeine at the next charging stop. I am a caffeine deprived road tripper. We got about an hour to Mountain Home. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, we made it. It's 10:30. The next stop is only 92 miles away, so I think we can pull off doing an 80% charge. These chargers are a little different than the ones I'm used to seeing, and I thought I had to use like a QR code to open them up, but no, I was just dumb. I had to hold the button and then pull it out. Anyways, we're at a gas station. There's a Burger King here, which I'm not gonna get, but I'm gonna see if there's a convenience store with some sort of caffeine, because this coffee, like I said, tastes like soap, and I just don't wanna risk that. All right, we got the top shelf stuff. We got ourselves a Celsius. I normally don't drink energy drinks unless it's for very special occasions, and driving halfway across the country, that counts to me. The immediate dose of caffeine and chemicals entering my bloodstream right now. So the next drive, it says it's going to take 1 hour and 19 minutes, 92 miles. We have 144 miles in the tank. We could probably go, but I want to get it to about 170, 180, and then I'll feel a lot more comfortable. But we'll arrive right around lunchtime, which is 12:04, and I looked up food spots, and apparently there's a taco truck, which is exactly the kind of thing I was looking for. Hopefully it's near the supercharger. If not, food trucks are pretty quick. All right, we are back on the road, 91 miles, actually 88 miles now, to Ontario, Oregon. Our first stop in Oregon. That is going to be so good for the morale. Energy-wise, though, I'm feeling pretty good. After drinking some of this Celsius, I still have about half left. I am feeling great. I was gonna look around and see if there was like a Starbucks or anything close by, but nothing that was immediately close. And I wanted to save some time, although a nitro cold brew would have been awesome. Funny story about the nitro cold brew. Around the time it came out, I asked for a micro brew, like you would for a beer or something, and they laughed me out of the store. Yep, I got laughed out of a Starbucks for ordering a micro brew. I deserve that one. I deserve that one for sure. All right, we made it to Ontario, Oregon. It is 12:20 p.m. We have 98 miles in the tank now. I think we landed here with about 65 or something like that. Now, here's the issue. Apparently, the next charging stop is 142 miles away. That's going to make it the longest distance we've driven this journey, and check this out. If we look at our map and we press the charge icon, just in case there's something in between Ontario and Burns, yep, there's literally nothing. So this route here is going to be super isolated, I think. I haven't driven this route in a long time, but as I recall, it's a very, very isolated area. So what my plan is, we're going to fill this thing to the brim, 212 miles or whatever. We're gonna have to stay here a little bit longer to charge all the way up like that. But now I'm starting to have some range anxiety. I think this is the most I've had since we started this trip. This is going to be a 2.5 hour drive, I think. Yep, 142 miles. Technically, I think we can get this car up to like 212 miles or something like that. And if we drive this thing like grandpa, I think we'll be able to do it. But I'm going to have to be very vigilant and keep an eye on the whole situation, on the estimated charge at the time of arrival, on the current mileage in the battery, and how many miles we have left on this trip. But if we're able to make this journey safely, which hopefully we will be, that's going to give me confidence going from Bend to Eugene, because that's a similar distance from the Bend charger back to my home in Eugene. There's also a taco place about 0.3 miles away. It's a 14-minute walk, which I guess we technically could do, but it's also 94 degrees out. So what we're gonna do is just let this thing charge up, go get some food after we're done charging, and take it from there. But for now, I'm going to kind of think about my life and the choices I've made leading up to this decision, because 142 miles, I think it was Trinidad to Poncha Springs, that was 150 miles, and I was already like, the car just physically cannot do that, and this is only 10 miles less than the distance I opted out for. All right, we have 216 miles in the tank, 142 to go. I think this is safe enough to stop charging. Oh man, these look awesome. Have a good one. Probably some of the best tacos I've ever had, and guess what? We're in Oregon, another point off of Texas for the Mexican food. I'm sorry, I'm sure there's great Mexican food in Texas, I just haven't found it. Guys, it is smoldering out in the sun, just sitting in the sun. The car is at 111 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, now I'm feeling a lot safer because it says 134 miles and we have 215 miles in the tank. Let's get on the road. All right, so she's taking us through some surface streets, and usually this is because Highway 20, Highway 26 in Oregon are more isolated highways. Sometimes they're single lane for quite a long time. That's why we have to take the side streets to even get to it. So in 1.3 miles, we take an exit from the surface streets to, it looks like Highway 20/26. And then from there, 19 miles later, we cut off left to continue on Highway 20. It says we'll arrive in Hines, Oregon at 3:56 p.m. I don't know if that's accounting for the time difference because we're 1 hour ahead of Burns, Oregon. Oregon is in 2 time zones. So once we get to Pacific time, I believe Burns, Oregon is already in Pacific time. So once we get to Pacific time, I wonder if we'll actually be arriving closer to 3 o'clock, not 4 o'clock. We'll see. I'll keep you updated on that. So this is classic Oregon trekking. This is what I mean by isolated. Check this out. It's a 2-lane highway, 55 miles an hour. We're going to continue on this road for 20 miles and then cut off left to continue on Highway 20. And it's basically like this for the entirety of the rest of my drive to Eugene, Oregon, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's beautiful, and also the slower speed limit will help me save some battery in case of emergency. And I'll be sure to show you guys every bit that I think is worth seeing. So with that said, we got 16 more miles till we cut left, and then it's on to Burns, Oregon. All right, a correction. Some parts of Highway 20 do go up to 65 miles an hour, but it's also kind of nice that we're driving on a Tuesday. It's Tuesday, right? Because the roads are pretty empty for the time being. If I had driven closer to the 4th of July, there might be a lot of traffic, and I wouldn't necessarily want to hold up traffic, but I also don't want to tear up the battery, right? So there's a kind of balance to be had, but it is completely empty. I mean, look at this. Just a whole lot of nothing. The occasional car as far as the eye can see, and this is the kind of driving I am used to. We are going to be climbing about 2,000 feet over the course of the 103 miles, and I don't know how much of that's going to be gradual or like this where we're climbing pretty steep and then maybe we're going to go a little bit down. Still looks a bit like Idaho, which is, you know, to be expected considering we're so close to the Idaho border, but starting to get some more hills, a little bit of green here and there. I expect those are farmlands. I just love this kind of driving. The difference between this and Idaho was in Idaho, we were driving on a big ass freeway, 80 miles an hour. Here, this is Highway 20, virtually nobody around, especially in the middle of the day during a work day. We got some construction out here. It's an automated light, so we'll see how long this takes. But man, we're literally that one unemployed friend at 2:30 p.m. on a Tuesday, except I am employed. It's a fun experience though, I get a taste of it. We also have a couple semis, a few cars ahead. We'll see if that slows us down though, because yeah, these are pretty much 2-lane highways, one going each way. We do have passing lanes occasionally, although I'm not super familiar with this part of Highway 20. But I'm honestly not too concerned. We're 84 miles from our destination with 156 miles of juice left. I'm feeling pretty solid. Man, look at these hills. That is so cool. It looks like they even have a pilot car. Wild. Yes, yes, we're very important. Man, this is absolutely gorgeous. We do have some scenic pull-offs, but because we are going for speed, we are not going to stop here. One of these days though, I am going to vlog a little adventure, probably on Highway 20, so I can show you guys what it looks like. All right, here we are, Hines/Burns. On the map, it says I'm in Burns, but the charger says it's in Hines, so maybe we're like right on the edge. The auto docking feature is cool, but I feel like I just do it faster. All right. We arrived at what would be 3:58, but guess what? We actually gained an hour because of the time change, so it's actually 3 o'clock right now, which is awesome. 47 hours total traveled this journey, so I think by the time all is said and done, it's going to be about 53 to 55 hours. So to be safe, because we never know, we'll charge it up to 200, 210 once more, just so we have that nice cushion in case there's some bizarre traffic situation. But let's go ahead and find ourselves some caffeine and maybe like coconut water or something. I don't know. So here we are going to the grocery outlet. There's a McDonald's as well. No coffee. It looks like McDonald's might have some iced coffee or something. Let's check. Iced coffee, let's go. Dude, I haven't been to McDonald's in probably decades. I didn't realize a medium coffee is the size of my head. Look at this. This is crazy. And it was $2.81. No wonder people go to McDonald's. I don't even know if I'll finish it all. I just wanted something little. I don't know why. I thought medium was gonna be like little. Okay, so I don't know what the deal is, but it says we're gonna end the trip with 14% in Bend, Oregon, and it's only 130 miles, and we have 207 miles in the tank. Maybe it's elevation gain, I have to check. But Bend, I feel like isn't much higher than Hines, Oregon. Maybe it's even lower than Hines. Once it's safe to check, I'll take a look, but this is just a little bit concerning. I'll also keep an eye on the miles just in case, so if we have like 80 miles to go and 140 in the battery, I think I'll feel pretty safe. Speed limit has jumped from 55 to 65. We have 2 hours to go now, so this is a 2-hour stretch and 126 miles. Estimated charge is going up though, so it went from 16 up to 18. And I am driving this like a grandpa. I don't know if you can see this. There is a fire near Bend and there is smoke everywhere all of a sudden. So you see all that gray in front of us? That is not fog, that is smoke, I'm fairly certain. There's a lot of cars moving this way. I think we're safe. And I didn't see any sort of warnings when I checked the weather. but I do know there is a fire incident somewhere, but I think it's contained, and I think this is it. And to the right, actually, it's really bad. And I don't know if you can see that on the right side, but yep, that is smoke. That is a lot of smoke, actually more than I expected. Now that's the issue with Oregon during the summer, is it gets so dry and we have so much foliage that it tends to catch fire. Okay, I don't know if it translates on the camera, but we are in the smoke right now, and I think I know how this fire got started, or at the very least, how it spread so quickly. It is very, very windy out here, so if there's a little brush fire and there's a lot of wind, that can spread it so fast, a lot faster than you would think. And that's similar to what happened with the California fire in Los Angeles that destroyed so many homes. The issue was that it was so windy. The fire was moving just way too quickly to contain, and it was spreading really fast because of that wind. So I don't know how windy it's been. You know, it's my first day here. I could imagine that if it's been this windy for the last few days and over 90 to 100 degrees out here in the plains, that a little spark could travel a big distance. Actually, I don't know if you guys just saw that, there was a lightning bolt here as well. You know, the issue is this is a lot of flatlands, so whatever that lightning bolt hit could have been grass, and if it's this windy, that could really spark up another fire. Hopefully that's not what happened. We'll keep an eye on the weather app. We'll keep an eye on any sort of warnings, because I don't want to be driving through a fire and it's already smoky. All right, it is 6 p.m. local time. We made it with about 55 miles in the battery, and we have 135 miles to go. It says this route is going to take 2 hours and 45 minutes. That's the longest stretch of driving we have done. And to save time, I'm not going to eat dinner in Bend. I'm just gonna eat dinner back home. I had a protein bar, like 20 grams of protein. I still have some coffee left, and I have these beef jerky things, so I think that's going to keep me alive. Once again, Tesla owners let out a collective cry. We are charging beyond 80%. 135 miles, we already know the car can do it, so I don't have any range anxiety, but I would have range anxiety if I got impatient and decided to leave at 180 miles. So we're gonna leave at 200 miles in the battery and make it for the final sprint home. All right, I might have misspoke earlier. I can't recall. We were taking Highway 20 from Hines to Bend. Now we're going to be taking mostly Highway 58 from Bend to Eugene, Oregon. We have just about 200 miles in the battery. We're also going to be going downhill a lot. It says we have an estimated 42% charge by the time we get home, so might have overcharged the car just a little bit. One other thing I wanted to mention really quick, because I saw all those thunderstorms around me, apparently we have 50-mile-an-hour gusts and 1-inch hail forecasted. Luckily, all of that is to the north, so that is going to be around Sisters and Redmond. We are currently in Bend, and we are going to be going south of all that. We do have a lot of rain on the forecast still, so we might get some heavy rain on the way, but it's nothing I'm not familiar with. I mean, you can't live in Oregon and expect to never drive in the rain. That's just not a thing. So if it's just rain, I'm feeling pretty okay. I was concerned about the 1-inch hail, but apparently that's going to be to the north, so we're gonna unplug and set off right now. Bro, Oregon is crawling with cops right now. I saw like at least 6 of them. They're just like sharks, man. It's crazy. I'm too scared to go fast, but it's 65 miles an hour here. We're going 73. I think that's respectable. I thought for a second I was going to get pulled over because I was going like 45 and a 35, and that's usually where they get you. And there was a cop hanging out in like a church parking lot, and I looked at him and I had this face like, you got me. And he didn't do anything. So I think we're okay. Thank you, Mr. Cop, for not pulling me over on my last stretch of this 4-day drive. That would have been kind of funny though. I probably would have asked him for a selfie just for the memes. That would have made a good thumbnail. Currently we have 10 miles till we take our shortcut to Highway 58 It's also cooled down a lot. We're looking at 71 degrees now, and it was 94 just outside of Bend, Oregon. That was from Hines. But yeah, dude, I'm starting to get a little tired. Not too much driver's fatigue, but my body is just like, you've been sitting for so many days in like one position. So that is a little bit of a struggle. It's not crucial. I'll definitely last another hour and a half, but the issue is we have like an hour and 50 minutes. So the last 30 minutes, those are going to be painful. I can tell my body, it's getting old, bro. I have 2 screws in my knee. I just have random pains now. As soon as I hit 30, it was just downhill, bro. It was just downhill. And of course, the guy that wanted to pass me is now tailgating me. All right, here it is, Crescent Cutoff Road, where that truck just turned. I don't know if you guys could see that. Here we go. I actually stayed in a hotel here or around this area 4 or 5 months ago. That was during the winter time, and it was actually snowy up here, so I haven't seen it since it's cleared out. And of course we got bugs on the windshield. My apologies for that. All right, but this is it, Crescent Cutoff Road. As you can see, we've gone from kind of more brown forest to a little more lush. I mean, it's summer, so we're still gonna get some brown. We'll be on this road for 10 miles, then we hit Highway 58, and it's a straight shot to Eugene, Oregon, our final destination, bro. And now it is a straight shot home. We are an hour and a half away. We have 131 miles in the battery and 78 miles to go. But after we get to Willamette Pass, which is the local mountain that I used to do ski patrol at, we are going to be going downhill. And this is what I'm talking about with Highway 58. It's a really fun, windy road. As soon as you get stuck behind a semi, suddenly you're going from 70 down to literally 39 miles an hour. And I don't blame him. I mean, these turns are pretty tight. So yeah, this is our life now. Stuck behind a slow-moving semi-truck downhill. And at this point, we're an hour and 7 minutes away, maybe longer with the semi-truck, but the scenery, dude. Oh, I just love it. I mean, look at this corner. Look at the rock. Look at the sunset. Hopefully it translates on camera. All right, well, now that we're past the semi-trucks, we're picking up the pace. We're going 60 miles an hour, only a few cars ahead of us, and we have about 45 minutes till we get home. We have about 38 miles and 115 miles in the battery, so we are straight chilling. We're gonna switch up the POV, and I'll keep you guys updated once we get closer to home. Man, look at this view, the lake with the sunset. Hopefully it comes across well on the camera. That is one hard to beat view, man. I'm telling you, dude, Oregon, one of the most beautiful rides of our 4-day journey. I mean, look at this, dude. This is crazy cool. I'm glad we made it right around sunset because this is just the perfect reintroduction to Oregon. And as I expected, we have about 20 minutes left on our ride and my body hurts. I had an ACL reconstruction on my right knee and my right knee is feeling a little bit tight. I'm trying to loosen it up by shaking it around, but it's kind of difficult when I have my foot on the gas, and this isn't the kind of road that I want to be on autopilot. I want to have full control of the steering wheel, so we haven't been on autopilot this whole time since we've left Bend. But it is official. We were able to make it to Oregon, make it to my hometown in Oregon, which is just an hour away from the West Coast, in just 4 days. And considering this car only has roughly about a 200-mile range on a 100% charge, we basically had to stop every 120 to 130 miles at the maximum for like 45 minutes to an hour. And even then, we were able to actually make it to Oregon in a reasonable amount of time. I mean, think about it. We went halfway across the country in 4 days in an older electric car, in an older Tesla Model X at that. One day I want to make like a month-long trip out of it, really explore all the hiking spots there are around the United States, places I haven't really seen before. I'm pretty familiar with Oregon and the Pacific Northwest. I'm not really familiar with like Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, the places that we passed. I'm not familiar with those places at all. So it has been a hell of a journey, man. This has been such a cool experience. I'm so privileged to have been able to do this and take time off my corporate goddamn job. And it's getting dark. I'm going to focus on the road because it looks like there's a lot more construction. But once I get home, I'm gonna pause the timer, and tomorrow morning I'll show you guys exactly how long it took us to get from point A to point B minus the hotels. Okay, it's a few days later and we did make it home, but take a look at how long it took us. 54 hours and 36 minutes. As opposed to the around 32 hours it took in a gasoline car, so effectively 20 hours longer. To be fair, it's to be expected that the older cars don't have the mileage that the newer EVs do, but the fact we were able to do it at all is super satisfying to me. I'm so stoked we were able to make it home. But if you guys enjoyed what you saw, please consider shooting me a like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. This is my first ever true vlogging video, so if you got any tips for me or suggestions, please leave them down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys on the next adventure.